If you are a career coach and you're doing less than $10,000 a month, then this video is for you, because odds are the reason why you're struggling to get past the $10,000 a month mark is because you don't have a strong enough offer. And in this video, I'm going to break down the biggest components of having an offer that is so good that your clients will feel silly saying no to. So let's get started. If we have not yet met, my name is Daniel Botero. I am the founder of Opni. I've been a career coach for over 10 years, and I used to work with international STEM students, and I scaled my career coaching business to over $100,000 a month. And I was able to do that and go from inconsistent 2 to 3K months to 100 plus K consistent months because of one main thing, and that was changing my offer. You see, I used to work with everyone. And this is the first part of having a strong offer, which is having a strong ICP or ideal customer profile or a particular niche, because the riches are in the niches. And I'll tell you my personal story. So back in 2018, when I left my corporate job at PepsiCo to be a full-time career coach, I used to be a career coach for college students. I used to think that that was a niche enough of a career coach niche. I used to be like, hey, college students, I'm not working with executives. I was never an executive, didn't claim to be an executive, but I was very successful at landing jobs right out of college. And so I thought that by working with just college students, I would be able to grow my business. And for the first year, 2 years, that was my niche. My company was actually called Mastering College to Career. And I struggled to even stand out amongst that crowd because college students had career services that was free. College students had other career coaches and services that provided, and it wasn't anything that made me different. And it wasn't until I started working with a business coach that he challenged me to go a little bit deeper within my niche. And I niched down to working with first generation minority or international students, because that's who I was. I am a first generation minority that graduated from a university in the United States and had 6, 7, I don't even remember, like over a dozen, probably no, but over half a dozen job offers once I graduated. And when I made that niche and I was becoming more known as like kind of like the immigrant career coach for college students, I went from making $2,000 to $3,000 a month to making $5,000, $7,000 a month. And I was like, hey, this is fantastic. And then I took it a step further, and I realized that with the clients that were coming in, the majority were international STEM students, meaning that there were STEM students from another country that were in America in an F1 visa, that were very technically savvy, had a lot of experience, but were struggling to get a job that would sponsor their H-1B. So I saw a gap in the marketplace, and I felt very comfortable in understanding the immigration process because I've gone through it, right? And I niched down even further. So I went from college students making $2,000 to $3,000 a month to first generation minority students making more like $5,000 to $7,000 a month. And then when I made the switch of going even nicher to international STEM students, so not just international students, but STEM students, trust me, it was so scary. I was super scared to do that. My business more than 7x by making that change alone, right? I didn't 7x the amount of times I posted on LinkedIn. I didn't get 7 times more lead. I was just more efficient and converted better because of the niche. And not only was I able to get more clients because I niched down, I also became a better coach because of it. Right? I was able to provide even a better service than every other career coach because I was able to provide things that only international STEM students needed. And I was catering to them, which then improved my results, which improved my testimonials, and created a beautiful flywheel effect of more people going through my program, getting great jobs, getting testimonials, which ultimately helped for marketing, becoming more branded and owning that niche, and allowed me to scale to $100,000 a month. That is over 10 new clients every single week. And odds are, if you're watching this, you probably would wish you had 10 clients in a quarter, right? And I was doing that in a week. And it's all, I would tell you, big part of it was because I niched down. And so when you think about the offer, it is very, very important that you niche down, and because the riches are in the niches, and especially when you're starting out and you're fighting with the Goliaths of the industry and people who have 500,000 followers, like my business partners and clients, Adam Broda and Reno Perry. Like you're not gonna win that battle. And so the way that you do that is by niching and being a specialist within a niche. So I hope that this is it's big enough proof, if you haven't done so already, to truly niche down. Now, let's talk about the second component of the offer that I really want you to focus on, right? And this is, again, another one of those things that most career coaches make a mistake in. And it's also the reason why they have a hard time scaling past 10K a month. And that is pricing. You see, the biggest mistake I see with newer coaches or even coaches that do less than $10,000 a month is that they are pricing themselves based on the time that they're spending with the client. So you're trading time for money, and that is not the right way to look at it. In fact, I actually want you to flip that upside down, and I want you to focus on trading money for value. Charge a high ticket for the total transformation, not for an hourly rate. Especially if you're a career coach like me that actually cares about the results of our clients. This is, if you're not, I don't want you to watch my videos or work with me. If you care about our clients, then we care about the transformation. And to do that, we want to align our incentives. When you're charging a client per hour, $200, $300 an hour, you're actually wanting them to take longer to get a job, because the longer they take to get a job, the more they work with you and the more you get paid. Versus if you are charging a high ticket upfront that includes all the transformation and you work with them until they get a job, then you're going to be able to charge a high ticket. And the faster you deliver the results, the less you work with them and the happier they are. And so if you come in and work with a client for 2 months and they get a job in 2 months, they're going to be happier because of the results, even though they paid a high ticket item. So I do want you to make sure that you are pricing based on the transformation and the problem that you're solving versus in an hourly rate. A question that I get very often in this scenario is like, Daniel, how do I know how to price my services? And I would say this is where I would say, you probably hate this answer, but it just depends, right? Depends on a lot of factors like your experience, how much is the salary or compensation that you're helping them make, the location. There's all these factors that will determine how much you charge. And by the way, if you want us to do that, we help our clients do that and help you finalize the offer. So #shameless plug, you can click a link below to speak to someone in our team and we can dive into this with you a little bit further. But to give you some general census, I suggest that you charge on the low end 3% and on the high end 10% of first year salary. So for example, when I was working with international STEM students, this was my pricing. We charge 5% of first year income, and they would deposit $1,500 to get started, and they will pay the remaining when they got the job. So if a client that we worked with, which was very common, got a $100,000 job, then 5% of that would be $5,000. They had already paid a $1,500 deposit. And so they would pay the difference, the $3,500, once they start receiving their paycheck. And it was a win-win. And we were pricing based on results and ultimately not based on hourly. So yes, some clients, we will work with them and it will require 4 to 5 hours from my team. Others will require 8, 9 hours of our team. You will figure this, that it will average out and you ultimately be able to be very profitable, impactful, and ultimately make it scalable. So pricing then determine whether you start maybe at 3%, and as you get more and more testimonials, you can increase the pricing accordingly as you decrease the risk for clients working with you. The third part about building this offer is having a strong guarantee. The stronger the guarantee that you have, the better you're able to mitigate the risk for somebody to work with you and invest with you. There's a couple of ways of how you should look at the different types of guarantees that you can offer. And honestly, you're just limited by the creativity here, but I'll give you 3 different ways that you can structure a guarantee. The first one is proof guarantee. And this is just if you've been doing this for a long time, you have hundreds of testimonials, and the guarantee is like, it's worked for all these people, why wouldn't it work for you? That's a really weak guarantee. Even myself, in which I have hundreds of recommendations on LinkedIn and tons of testimonials on our website. I can't even tell you the exact number at this point, which I have the proof and I have the experience and I have the brand. I still don't even use the proof guarantee. Like, that's part of the guarantee per se, but I still use one of the other 2. The second type of guarantee would be a conditional guarantee, meaning I will work with you until you get a job, right? Or I will work with you until you get your first 3 high ticket coaching clients. By the way, shameless plug, we do that in the LCA. But that's a guarantee that is based on working with you to get the transformation. Now, to protect yourself, I would advise you that in your agreement, you do put some level of execution that, like, hey, I will work with you until you get a job as long as you're executing the advice that I'm giving you, right? Like, just like I wouldn't get mad at my personal trainer because I'm not losing weight when I eat pizzas and hamburgers every night. That's not their fault, right? It'll be the same way. You want to be able to protect yourself there. And the third one would be some sort of like a money back guarantee. And again, you can see that there's different levels of guarantee. There is this like proof guarantee, weak. There is this conditional guarantee, medium, and a money back guarantee, extremely strong. Now, that money back guarantee can be very scary to do, but if you implement it, you're gonna see how much that affects your closing rate and will increase the number of clients that you work with. When we worked with college students, that was our guarantee. That was a big part of how we were generating 10 plus new clients every single week, because we said, if you didn't have a job within 90 days of your goal date, we will refund you your deposit, right? So we will refund the $1,500. And that worked really well. And I will tell you that less than 5% of people we worked with ever had to do their refund because of two things. Either A, best case scenario, they come in, execute the program, get a job, or B, people come in, don't execute, are not following the strategies, don't get a job, and either A, realize that by themselves and be like, you know what, Daniel and Opni and Mastering Class Career, you're right. Like, I didn't follow the plan. I don't expect you to give me the money back. Or B, like, we just work with them a little bit longer and re-change the goal date, and then they start executing and ultimately get a job, right? And for those really small times where we did have to refund them, because we did, right? Like that sometimes does happen, especially when you're working with people that require H-1B visas. We did refund them the money, but the amount of more clients that we got because we offer the guarantee heavily outweighed the amount of money that we refunded, and we worked for free with those clients for maybe 3 to 4 months. So that's the guarantee part. So when you can combine having a very strong niching down, when you can combine a pricing based on transformation, not hourly, and you have a guarantee, those three things right there are recipe for success and scaling past the 10K a month. If you do that and you're charging 3 to 5K for your program, look, you only need 3 to 2 clients to pass the 10K. Very doable. You don't need that many followers, if any followers on LinkedIn to do this. It starts with a very strong offer. So if you found value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are listening to this and you're like, Daniel, I get what you're saying, but I would love help with this. I then invite you to schedule a call with our team to see if working with us makes sense. We have a couple of programs in which we dive into your offer, help you craft your offer, your pricing, your guarantee, everything, so that you don't have to go through trial and error, and you can feel rest assured that you're charging the right, you've got the right niche, and you have a strong guarantee. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.